Hello, welcome to this flip through video of one of my journals. People who know my work know that I work in many journals. I really have a lot of journals that I work in, and I tend to start a lot of journals and then never finish them. And I don't really like this habit because you can imagine how many journals I have laying around. I often write the starting date or the starting year in front of my journals, not always, but I sometimes do that. And then I finished a lot of the first pages, and then I start working in journals randomly, and then the last pages are often just white pages, and there are a lot of pages in between that I still want to finish. So I am determined to start with finishing journals. I like to work in more journals at a time, but it got a bit out of hand. I have so many journals laying around, and I noticed that especially in these older ones, like this one from 2015, it is a little over 3 years old now, and this type of work doesn't really speak to me that much anymore. I like this type of illustrations, don't mistake me, it is still an important part of me, but in my art journals I love to be a bit more expressive these days, more like this. It just doesn't always feel right anymore when you have to open a journal where there's a lot of work that just doesn't really feel like you anymore. Anyway, to avoid that it will take me another 3 years to finish a book like this one or these, I have started to complete older journals right now. And this is a book that I now consider done. I thought it was fun to show you this journal. Not all the pages in this journal are finished, or what I call finished. There are a lot of sketches in it as well. I consider this journal full. This is the first page, May 2014, so it was about time that I finished this book. There's a little Amélie doll. This is from an e-course that I made in 2014, and it's not available currently as I want to focus more on art journaling these days in my Bloknote Academy, my online school. So I put it offline for now. Maybe one day I will sell it again, but it was a very fun e-course. I still liked it, but it's not what I'm focusing on right now. These are just some sketches of dolls. I often do this. I had this background which was just a test of some paint I with a stencil that I sprayed with spray inks and see if that works, and it worked. But then I don't work a lot with inks, and I had these doll sketches laying around, so I just stick them in. I think that makes quite a nice spread actually. This is from a free art tutorial called I Am Free. And I don't know if it's currently available. I think not, because of the new privacy law we have in Europe. But I think I'm going to make this available again soon, because it's really fun to get to know the jelly plate a bit better, which is a printing plate with which you can print very nice textures. This is going to be a long video like this, because I find it hard to to not tell and only show. I think I'm just such a teacher. I always like to explain myself and tell people how I do things and what you see, and yeah, it's just really the teacher in me who just keeps on rambling. So I think I'm going to make 2 videos about this one. One in which I just show you and put some background music and I shut my mouth. And then this one in which I tell you everything more in detail, what you see, something about techniques, and yeah. This is a more expressive page with a nice mixed media textured background and scribbled writing. I love to do that. It's really illegible, but I love to express myself with scribbly words, and of course some dolls. And there's always a lot of texture in my backgrounds because of all the layering I do. Often the texts on my journal pages are from songs. I'm listening to music a lot when I'm art journaling. Music is really important for me in my creative process, and I just use words randomly that I hear at that very moment and then use those in my art journal. I also love to explore patterns, so I'm really into drawing naive folk arty dolls, but I also have this designer in me who loves to explore colors and patterns. And then of course lettering. This is a bit similar to the other page, like this one. There was this red background and I sticked the drawings or sketches on it randomly. It is, this was first a pretty cute doll and I didn't like it anymore, and then at one point I just scratched the eyes, making it much more expressive than it first was. And then there is this text that I heard in a song that was playing at that very moment. You eat shit 'cause you're stupid and shallow, future heads. And I guess this is about me not wanting to be shallow. Yeah. Yeah, I love to express myself deeply. It just really helps me, and I really love exploring in my art journal emotions and how to make those emotions visual. And I guess there's just a sort of common human pain I love to express that is, I believe, universal, and that is also what I seek in art. When I'm walking through museums and I recognize something of myself in an artwork, then I can feel really connected with the artist, even if I don't know him or her. And that is what I actually try to do in my art journals as well. Just express a sort of human emotion that is pretty common for all of us, I guess. I love to work in a limited color palette, so you will often see these red and blue color palettes in my work. And often I have these floral patterns, that's what I call them, but they're not per se decorative floral patterns, but I love to be expressive in the patterns on my page and then work with sort of patterns and structures and lettering. And yeah, I really love grainy textures. That's something that I'm always looking for a sort of fine grain in my work. And if I have that, then I'm satisfied. There's a lot of folk art inspired themes in my art journals as well. This one was made with inks, I guess. Or no, it's watercolors. No, it's watercolors with pencil and black ink. Just a fun little doll there. This was just a test. It was for an e-course by Effie Wild, which was Radiant 2 Art Journaling, which was a series of e-courses, yearly e-courses, and that was the second version, was all about art journaling. And I made a lesson called The Birth of an Artist, and this one was inspired by a painting I saw in Florence, which was it was a little detail of the painting Birth of Venus that I saw in Florence. It's just a little color test, actually. Yeah, this was actually just me expressing myself in the words with watercolors. I think it says something so tired of you complaining to blah blah blah. Sometimes I'm just writing on my journal what I literally think, and I paint over it, and then you see parts of the words. And this was I think a pretty cute doll figure, but then with a floral pattern around her, and I think it makes a really beautiful page. I really like this, how this works here with the letters and the somewhat muted palette. It's funny because this is a couple of years old now, but I can still feel pretty inspired by my own work and thinking, oh yeah, that's how I did that back then, and then start using the techniques of a couple of years ago. And I think that's really a fun thing about art journaling, that at one point you have such a body of work in your journals that you can just turn the pages of your own books and then feel inspired again already. So that's funny. Dirt. This was just a little ink test and a similar ink test, but then around a doll I drew. I didn't finish coloring it, but I guess I just liked it the way it was. This is a more expressive dolls with some tests. I often use my journals to just simply test techniques and then use those tests in the page itself. Yes, my journals are sticky sometimes too. I really like the muted palette of this one. This is pretty recent actually, because I wanted to finish this journal. I reworked pages and worked things on old backgrounds again, and I really loved the tones of this page, and I think it's a very intense spread now, and I really like how this one turned out, and I really love the lettering on this one as well. I think it combines very well with this doll and the textures and the little details around it. Yeah, happy with this one. And there are a lot of sketches in this journal. These are just ideas, doodles. This was just a sketch that I had that I cut out and sticked here, and then I had this page that had nothing to do with this, so I just wrote some words there to make it more of a whole, and I think it works very well together now like this. And yeah, some sketches while I was walking around in a neighborhood, and I just sticked a doodle on the sketch, and now it looks as if this doodle doll is in this landscape, and I actually quite like this because this is so watery, and this is made with a watercolor pencil, and then this is much more defined because it's made with a fine liner, and I think this actually works pretty well together. I've never really finished this sketch, but I really like the idea, and I still had the idea to make a large painting of this doll with the elements that I have here. And I still want to do something with this idea one day. Doing a lot with lettering again these days. Some sketches. More sketches. I love it when there is some kind of... when it looks like it's just a simple doodle, but then there's a lot of thought behind it, and I'm expressing myself in my art journals the way that I feel is necessary for me. The end. It's not the end of the journal, but this just happened. Yeah, this was a couple of years ago. I was expressing myself in doodles. I think I have used this idea in one of my e-courses as well. I really like this series. It's a series of 3, and I often do this in other journals as well. I call these my color pages. I start doodling randomly and I make a sort of color page for myself with elements that mean a lot to me. I've developed a sort of language of symbols that are just personal for me, and and then I start coloring the page. In this case it was with colored pencils, markers and a lot of watercolors, but I think these are pretty expressive even though they're just doodles and they look pretty colorful. I really like the way that this turns out, and I still love to do this approach of just take a fine liner, start doodling without sketching, and then coloring those pages. Yeah, this is a nice Marieke doll. I can't say much about it. It's really typical for me, I guess. This type of landscapes with this type of dolls, and this is just me having fun drawing. I don't find this this is not really exploring myself deeply, but it's just really fun to make, and I think there must be a lot of room for just playing and having fun as well. And this is pretty important for me, that there's no light without dark, but there's also no dark without light. The two need to go together. I need to make happy as well as expressive pages, and a journal should be a place where you can go to when you feel happy, but also when you feel sad. It's just, they go together. So there's also a lot of room for fun hipster drawings. I really love this one. It's just really fun, dude. Yeah, or just exploring patterns, and a girl that went shopping or something in greys and a little bit of neon pink. I love this color combination of greys and black, and then adding a vibrant color like neon. And more expressive self-portrait in watercolors, and I think this is a thick black marker, and some doodly dolls. More expressive page again. This is actually a copy of a drawing I made in another journal, and I cut the copy out and sticked it on this background and then colored her a bit again. I was testing a lot with photocopies lately, and yeah, it was fun to do something with copies of your own work. A doodle flower. This is another recent work, and it's very expressive again, and lately I'm adding more and more letters to my work again. I really fell in love with lettering again. It has always been a huge love and a huge passion of mine. It's the reason why in the first place I once chose to study graphic design because I really love letters, and I'm bringing back that love in my art journals again lately, and I'm really loving playing with colors and shapes and illustrations, and then add fonts and some doodly dolls. This is a more expressive page again, in which I play more with patterns and color and fonts again. And this was a page that this is the last one that I wanted to finish. I feel that it's not finished, and then I never really know what to do with it, and then I just decided that it's done. I'm not going to do anything with this anymore. It's obvious that I wanted to express something big here. There is this hand trying to reach for the world, but it seems as if the hand really can't grab it or something. It's just something eerie about this drawing, and yeah, this is something that plays a lot in my mind, the world. I sometimes just have this vision of this tiny globe, that it's just so small, while all of us live there and hurting this lovely planet of ours. And so I finished big here, even though it's not really finished, but I call this done so that I can now close this book once and for all, and yeah, get your hands off my art journal. I hope you liked this video. It turned out to be a really long video, sorry. If you made it all to the end, well, I'm impressed. I hope you liked it, and yeah, I loved working in this book, and I can't wait to finish more journals in the next year. So I hope to be able to make more of these flip through videos and just tell you my ideas about all the work. So now I hope that something in this video inspired you to create for yourself, and yeah, I can't wait to hear what you think of this video and share your ideas with me in the comments below. See you, bye! That's it, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you're new to art journaling, go to artjournalschool.com, where I have a free online art journal workshop for you, in which I share with you my ideas about art journaling and also some fun basic art journal techniques. See you!